I'm crying and I can't kill myself because my mum's going to get this call. I was thinking there was going to be snipers in my garden. Stop mass incarcerating mentally ill and low-level drug use. Take all those resources and go after the paedophiles. $1 million house on a mountain didn't matter. Twin turbo Mazda RX-7, swimming pool, jacuzzi, porn star wife. Didn't matter anymore. You're the man, take the beef, we'll let them off death row and only give you 12 years. He ended up doing 34 years and his wife dropped him right away. Because we were going after a certain member of the royal family and Epstein and Maxwell. Shaun's ruined, this is all gonna come out, be with us basically. Do not flash your lights for it to turn the lights on. It's a gangbanger ritual whereby if you flash them to turn the lights on, they're just gonna shoot you dead in your car.
This is an Illamade production, live on the Illamade network. To all our viewership, please eavesdrop. So fast forwarding a little bit, the Shaun Attwood, as we know today, is an absolute heavyweight as far as the online media space. Prolific coming out of the UK. Shaun, where did this all start as far as going that direction as far as YouTube?
All right, I'm blessed, man, for so many wonderful people helping me on this journey. So, this goes back to the story I told you about the genesis of the blog. Second year in the jail, I started the blog. First year in the jail, I was resenting getting caught. The walls were still howling for me to go out and get high. Even though I quit the importation the year before, I was still sneaking off on the weekend with my girlfriend with Wild Man and G-Dog and getting high. Gangsteritis full on. Second year, facing 200 years, that lifestyle didn't matter anymore. All I wanted was to get my life back. $1 million house on a mountain didn't matter. Twin turbo Mazda RX-7, swimming pool, jacuzzi, porn star wife, didn't matter anymore. I was just thinking, I just want to get my life back. Please God, I was praying, please God, give me my life back. And I'm an atheist. So, the day I got sentenced, one of the happiest days of my life, that's around the time the blog started. And I went from just thinking about getting high and getting my party friends high and being this selfish, materialistic person to thinking about the needs of the prisoners. In max security, once I started to think about the needs of the prisoners, the day I wanted to kill myself, the thing that stopped me doing it was I looked at the photos of my mum, dad, girlfriend and sister. I was allowed 7 photos. And I started crying, thinking my mum's going to get a call saying, your son's just murdering himself in a foreign jail. I'm crying and I can't kill myself because my mum's going to get this call. But then within a couple of days, a guy limps into my cell. He's got a steel rod in his leg. He's got cancer, hepatitis C. He's in agony. And this guy's going to die within a couple of years. And I'm thinking, I was just so, feeling so sorry for myself. There's always somebody worse off. Absolutely. So I started to think about the needs of other people. For the first time, I wasn't just making money and partying. And I started to teach a class for the Mexicans to write home in Spanish because a lot of them worked out in the countryside. The neo-Nazi ABs had a problem with that, but I had a crystal meth chemist who worked with the ABs and he got that green light down to have me smashed so I could continue helping the Mexicans. I'm reading the guy's legal paperwork. And then the blog. I didn't think the blog would be read, to be honest. I thought it would be read by family and friends and that was it. When I got moved to Supermax, once we were out of that jail, because it was that jail we were most in fear of, my sister, the journalist, had connections at The Guardian, and they released it, and then the BBC released it, and it snowballed from there. So the blog started in 2004. On the back of that, the YouTube channel started in 2007. The blog was the first prison blog. The YouTube channel was the first prison YouTube channel. And it was only prison stuff that we did for many, many, many years. It was only about 5 years ago, after I went on True Jordan, I was inspired by those guys, that I started my own podcast, and then Wildman came on board. Incredible.
I mean, looking at how it's blossomed, what it is now, sort of thing, it's crazy.
It's my karmic duty to help other prisoners because so many good guys helped me to get to where I am. And with this team now of 20 people working on the channel, 6 co-hosts, you know, I'm having a baby with Jen, who's one of my co-hosts. It's changed my life.
Congrats, by the way.
YouTube has changed my life.
Congrats for that.
Thank you, yeah.
About to be a father.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to ask you, Shaun, obviously now you're the man as far as the online game sort of thing, but What's some of the biggest obstacles, would you say, that you've had to overcome in order to establish yourself as who you are? Not only who you are, but what the message that you're trying to get out there. What's some of the things you face? Obviously, you got some pricks in the comments talking crazy. You've mentioned enemies before, like all these aspects. So, what's some of the biggest obstacles, would you say?
So, it was plain sailing with the podcast until I had my first guest on, Jamie Morgan Kane. Mm-hmm. He's the most viral, over 10 million views on his combined stuff.
Big him up, yeah.
Yeah. And Jamie, another YouTuber who outed people for stolen valor, went after Jamie. Jamie had no social media. Jamie came home one day, found a corpse in his living room. His wife was up for the death penalty with another woman, conspiracy to poison the guy. The prosecutor says to him, "You're the man, take the beef, we'll let them off death row and only give you 12 years. He ended up doing 34 years and his wife dropped him right away.
Is it the same guy that I'm thinking of?
He's radiating warmth and happiness.
Yeah.
And he's been,
he's a sick guy, that guy. I rate him a lot.
It was learned he was born in the Isle of Man while he was in California prison. He wasn't even a US citizen, so they deported him back to London where he didn't know anybody. Except for one pen pal and a charity called Prisoners Abroad who asked me to help him. Mm-hmm. I brought him on board. Because he had no social media presence, the guy who was outing stolen valor went after him, but he had no social media presence. So I woke up one day, all my social media was getting hacked, my home address, bank account information, everything was online, websites were getting hacked. This guy, I found out, was connected to Blackwater and the CIA. I was thinking there was going to be snipers in my garden one day. Basically, there was so much mayhem created in my life from this guy unleashing the Kraken on me. Everything I was doing in my life had to be put on hold for a month. Mm-hmm. This is how much social media black ops can fuck people up.
Absolutely.
This was a huge learning curve for me. So I was, it was a baptism of fire, but I learned the ropes of attacks coming in and how to behave more accordingly, I thought to myself anyway. So the next thing that happened was we got into the dark side of the Epstein case, didn't we? We were helping victims of human transportation and hearing these really horrendous stories. Our motto became end the war on drugs, take all those resources, stop mass incarcerating mentally ill and low-level drug users, take all those resources and go after the paedophiles.
Salute.
Do you want me to not use that word?
Go for it, use it.
All right, go after those people. And because the root cause of crime is childhood trauma and primarily paedophilia and child abuse, and these sickos are getting slaps on the wrist. Look at these priests, man. They join the brotherhood because they know that they'll get the fancy lawyers by the church to protect them, and they create hundreds of victims, and all they end up in prison. And all our interviews prove this over and over again. Go after the root cause of crime. Go after the pedos. Stop locking up the low-level drug users because they're just taking drugs because of the damage done by these predators. I thought the whole world would be behind me when I went on this mission. Man, it got worse than with the Jamie Morgan Kane situation, because we were going after a certain member of the royal family and Epstein and Maxwell. So what happened then was, we don't know where the attacks were coming from. There was so many of them, but to this day we believe there was black ops and legal ops from prominent people we were going after. There was trolls, and then the competition started to jump on, like James English made his move and jumped on with information from a troll channel out of Scotland. Those guys started working together. The information on that troll channel out of Scotland has all been classified as defamation by YouTube. He did about 50 videos against me. That's all the stuff that James went with, that he fed to Marvin, that he fed to Billy out of Liverpool. And all that stuff, YouTube has ruled as defamation, which is lies. But they knew if they repeated the lies enough, I would lose subs. So James, after me helping him for years, sent me some texts that are still on my phone. And he said to me that Darren G and Billy Moore were having problems with me, and I said, James, you know I'm a good guy, calm those guys down, tell them I'm a good guy, and let's make this go away. This is when Wildman was still alive, and Wildman was getting very upset with the vibes that was coming from these people because they were saying certain things about me. James would not go on his main channel and just put me on full blast, so he brought Darren G in to do it. And the night he brought Darren G in to do it, the night it was broadcast, I lost 10,000 subs overnight.
Really? Oh my God.
Within days, yeah. And that's when we got the lawyer involved. And I've got the legal paperwork if you want to read it. But I was called a P word, gay, police informant. I was in a abduction ring, child abduction ring with a guy called Wilfred Wong. They said these things so many times. It was like hundreds of times they kept repeating it.
Yeah.
Now, Darren G quickly realised he couldn't be used by James, like Marvin was used by James. And he showed me the screenshots of James telling him I have paedophile charges in America. Darren G showed me the screenshots, and he said to Darren, "Shaun's ruined. This is all going to come out. Be with us, basically, and we'll take care of you." But Darren quickly realised that he was being used, and came back to us and showed us all the screenshots.
Really?
Yeah, and we've done a bunch of podcasts and collaborations with Darren since.
So you lot are still cool, you and Darren?
Darren is his own man. 1 month, every so many months, Darren has come to us, and we've always supported him and we've helped him. But then, within the space of a few months, he's come to the opinion that I'm a Freemason, and he doesn't want to work with me.
Amazing. Shaun, if I can divert your attention towards, there was an instance where I believe your channel was actually taken down.
Yeah, twice.
Because of a certain female that you had on?
No, that's what English said.
Oh, right.
All these things have come from James English that people keep repeating.
Right.
And to this day that I've got to deal with. So I could send you the strikes if you want to see them.
No.
All the strikes were to do with us going after what we believe was the biggest, most predatory child thingy ring in the world, run by elites, including Epstein, who I've continued to write a series of books about, and I'm writing one about Savile now. All our strikes came about because we went after those people, and 2 of those prominent people are still alive. It's okay to go after dead people. One of them got sentenced, the female, I won't say her name, and the other one is a senior member of the royal family. You can't go after these people. And going after the senior member of the royal family was a mistake, which opened me up to be targeted because he's never been convicted of anything like that. Just like Schofield has not been convicted of anything like that. You can't say things unless there's a conviction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scumbags, anyway.
Yeah.
But if I can ask you, I mean, you have a plethora of material now. So much interviews, so much coverage on certain topics.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've done as far as content, whether it be an interview or something that you've covered, that really, really resonated with yourself, that probably your most proudest work to date? Yeah,
our Jimmy Savile documentary, Untouchable. It's almost at 2 million views right now. It's almost 4 hours long. We had to take out David Icke's contribution, but people can watch that. It's on my Rumble channel. They can watch it for free on YouTube or Rumble, yeah.
Amazing.
Because Netflix, they didn't show properly. The necrophilia, the keys to the morgue, Broadmoor, all that stuff.
I'm gonna be honest. I just can't do it. People like that, they're just gonna send me over the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there was even an Epstein documentary on Netflix. The intro just done it for me.
Yeah.
When he said, they were asking him about his charges, his priors and stuff, and he just said with chest, he's saying, "Yeah, I'm a convicted child, whatever," and it's like,
we've
I thought, F this, mate. I'll turn it off. I'm like, I can't watch this.
We've worked with Epstein survivors, and those people have been hounded, and they've tried to destroy them as well online. It's disgusting.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
But obviously, we were speaking behind the scenes a little bit, and I brought your attention towards a documentary that went viral. I don't know if you had a chance.
Yeah, I did watch the beginning of it. That was interesting.
Mate.
Yeah.
So just a bit of context, right? There is a YouTuber who's from the UK as well.
Yeah.
Called Trap La Ross or something. He's made this documentary about a rapper who comes out of Chicago. Now, Chicago is ridden and rife with a lot of gang activity.
Yeah.
But it's really real over there. Like you can't go somewhere without, you know, you really have to make sure your next move is always your best move. You got this individual by the name of King Von, who sadly he's no longer with us. He got murdered also, but he's got a past of doing a bit of murdering himself. We say a bit very lightly, but allegedly he's responsible for about 7 to 8 murders.
Yeah.
But of the opposition. Now I feel like what made this go viral was the title of the video. I don't know if you remember what it said. It said King Von, hip hop's
serial killer.
Serial killer. If I can ask you, being a gang member, and let's say you go and you put in work on the other side, and you catch a body, so to speak, right? Do those dynamics qualify you as a serial killer?
All right, that's a very interesting question, because it's done in a strategic clickbaity way, that title.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I arrived in Arizona, for example, my aunt said to me, if you see a car driving around at night with its lights off, do not flash your lights for it to turn the lights on. It's a gangbanger ritual whereby if you flash them to turn the lights on, they're just going to shoot you dead in your car. Now, how many gangbangers are in that car, which bullets hit you, how would you know? So versus a serial killer who strategically is going from victim to victim at specific locations. So you've got a massive difference. It's like saying, the Reds are at war with the Blues. The Reds open up on the Blues. But whose bullets is hitting? If he individually is going out whacking people because he's a serial killer as part of his gang culture, that's more realistically he could classify himself as a serial killer. Yeah, so...
But I feel like with a serial killer, there's a sense of randomness attributed to them identifying the victim.
The motive.
The motive, exactly, because it's random.
It's women.
Yeah.
Usually.
And it could typically be someone that you don't know. But in the case of King Von, I personally wouldn't call him a serial killer. I would call him a gang member who's doing gang activity, right?
All right, so I am doing a series right now with a guy in South American prison who is classified as a cartel serial killer. And he just considered himself a hitman. But now on his wiki page, it says he's a serial killer because he's got so many kills. So if you look at the definition of a serial killer in America, the guy you're talking about probably does fall within the textbook definition of a serial killer.
But it's like, I remember Sammy the Bull once said, right, I can't remember what interview it was, because he not professed, but admitted to 19 murders.
But he didn't do them himself.
He didn't do them, yeah. Being a part of it. And they asked him, do you consider yourself a serial killer? Might have been Vlad even. And he said, well, would you consider someone who goes out to war and kills the opposition, would you consider them a serial killer? Because it's war. In the case of King Von, it's war. DJ Academics had a channel called The War in Chirac because it was war. So that's why I'm a bit away from the whole title. It's a bit crazy.
Prosecutors, if they can label you a serial killer, they're going to get way more promotions and TV coverage and headlines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's in the prosecutor's interest to label you as serious as they possibly can. That's why Sammy the Bull is the head of the ecstasy ring in Arizona, because that makes more sense to them. And that's why Wild Bill, they classified him as a serial killer. This is the guy we're dealing with in the South American prison system. He's in there with a phone, and we're interviewing him through his phone in his cell, because he's doing life. And it's within the legal definition of things. You could say anyone's anything pretty much. Yeah.
And finally, Shaun, just to wrap things up, so you have this documentary coming out with Sammy the Bull.
Yeah.
How did that come about, bro? Because that's actually crazy.
Yeah, so I did a documentary one with him, how he busted the bull. I've already done one with him, but it was way lower level than this one. And this one, I said to my mum, it's going to be filmed with these people out of America. Some people are coming to the house in my hometown to film you. And she thought, you get a cup of tea ready. Trucks of people arrived and the whole traffic stopped. And there was like 20, 30 people in the crew. Took over our entire street. Took over our house for days. So it is a massive production. And they've filmed my parents, they've filmed us at Wildman's. Actually, I probably, because of the NDA, I probably can't really say much about what else is going to be coming to. Other than they filmed my family and Sammy the Bull's family, and it's going to be on a major network in America. Yeah.
Any interactions with Sammy at all?
Sammy has reached out since we've done it, and we are asking permission from the film company if we can do a joint podcast because of the legal shit that we've signed off on to do the documentary. There are restrictions on us collaborating right now, so we're just getting that smoothed out so that we could do a collaboration. But I'm gonna try and speak to him on the phone here in the next couple of days, because he has sent me some messages online that I've not responded to, saying he likes what I'm doing and he wants to interview me, and I can interview him.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. That would be crazy.
That might educate a few people.
Shut a few people up as well.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, Shaun. Like I said, you're the man, bro. Like I'm tuned in. You know, I've loved the stuff you've done recently with Joey Torres and I forgot the individual's name, who was down with Roy DeMeo.
Oh, Kevin Ma.
Kevin Ma.
Yeah, he was the wheelman for Roy DeMeo with the corpses in the stolen cars.
Lady Colin Campbell was another great one.
Yeah.
Robbie Williams. Like,
Thank you.
You're just going clear, like more clear than clear. Sort of.
Robert Greene's one of my faves. It didn't get that many views though, but it's I loved speaking to him. Yeah. And
I just want to wish you all the best. I mean, you're killing it.
Thank you, man.
I mean, you should be really proud of your accomplishments, and I'm definitely tuned in. I'm definitely watching, and really appreciate your material and your everything. And big you up always, Shaun. 100%.
Oh, cheers. But you gotta be careful because I'm an extreme workaholic, right? So I don't ever think I've achieved anything. Mate. I'm always trying to striving to just grow everything constantly and expand and get more people involved. You know, you said I'm the man, but there's there's way bigger people out there than me. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that I'm the biggest podcaster in the universe.
I mean, I told you, it's just you and James, really. Like you and James, it's like you lot are the monopoly sort of thing. I don't.
No, we're mid-level, man. We are mid-level. Who
would you say that's above?
Look at True Geordie. He's got millions.
I think you're bigger than
look at No Jumper. Look at Joe Rogan.
About the country,
look
here
at in the UK. Brian Rose has got a couple of million.
I don't even know who that is. I'm completely.
There's some big ones out there, man. Yeah.
I might be talking on a preferential.
On your genre. On your genre.
No, you're the man.
I can't ever think I'm the man because then I'm going to rest on my laurels.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, appreciate you. Thanks for inviting us.
That's a wrap.